When Jungkook opened his heart, the world seemed to pause. For years, fans had speculated about his unspoken emotions, his quiet struggles behind the dazzling lights of the stage, and the vulnerable side he rarely allowed the cameras to capture. Then, one unexpected night, his words poured out, not scripted, not rehearsed, but raw and real. In front of thousands, Jungkook confessed emotions that went deeper than music, fame, or artistry. His voice trembled as he admitted how much the journey had weighed on him, how close he had come to breaking, and how much one particular bond had kept him standing, his connection with Taehyung. Fans described the moment as unreal. Twitter trended with hashtags in dozens of languages. Clips of Jungkook's tearful words circulated within minutes, replayed millions of times, dissected frame by fans trying to understand the full depth of his confession. But as Jungkook wiped away tears, all eyes turned to Taehyung. His reaction wasn't just sympathy, it was something else. A fire in his eyes, a silent promise, an unspoken vow that would soon unfold in ways nobody could have imagined. Taehyung has always been more than just a performer. To those who know him, he is a protector, a guardian of emotions, a soul that carries not only his own pain but the burdens of those around him. When Jungkook's voice cracked with vulnerability, Taehyung didn't flinch. He didn't panic. Instead, he stepped closer, placing a hand on Jungkook's shoulder, steady, grounding, unshaken. That single touch said what words could not. You are not alone. For ARMY, the moment was electrifying. Many fans claimed they had never seen Taehyung so intensely protective. Some even compared it to the early days of their careers, when Taehyung often shielded Jungkook from harsh criticism or from the overwhelming chaos of fame. But this time felt different. This wasn't just about comfort. It was the beginning of something bigger, a choice Taehyung was about to make, one that would change the narrative for both of them. After the performance ended and the confetti had settled, whispers began to spread. Those who had caught glimpses backstage described Taehyung and Jungkook walking side by side, away from the cameras, speaking in hushed tones. Some staff members reportedly noticed the way Taehyung stayed close, almost shielding Jungkook from the overwhelming flood of emotions. Witnesses said Jungkook's eyes were still red from crying, but Taehyung's presence seemed to steady him, like an anchor pulling him back from the storm. Nobody knows exactly what was said behind closed doors that night. But insiders suggested that Jungkook's confession wasn't just for the fans. It was a message, a cry for understanding, and maybe even a plea for change. And Taehyung, ever the quiet visionary, was already planning his next step. In the days that followed, Taehyung remained uncharacteristically quiet. While Jungkook's confession continued to dominate headlines, with media outlets spinning every possible interpretation, Taehyung avoided making direct statements. But his silence wasn't emptiness, it was preparation. Fans began to notice small clues. Cryptic posts on social media, subtle changes in his tone during interviews, and lyrics he shared late at night that seemed to hint at deeper meanings. ARMY, known for their detective skills, pieced together these fragments like a puzzle. Then came the revelation. Taehyung was preparing something monumental. Whether it was a project, a statement, or a move within the group dynamic, nobody knew for sure. But one thing was clear. It was inspired by Jungkook's confession, and it would shock the world. The fandom erupted. Within hours of Jungkook's confession, social media platforms lit up with debates, theories, and emotional responses. On Weverse, fans poured out heartfelt messages of support. On Twitter, hashtags like Jungkook We Love You, Taehyung, and Protect Taehyung and Jungkook trended globally. Some fans cried tears of empathy, feeling Jungkook's words resonate with their own struggles. Others were left in shock, unsure how to process the raw vulnerability their idol had just shared. And yet, a large majority felt one undeniable truth. Taehyung's reaction was not just brotherly. It carried weight, depth, and intention. Fan-made edits appeared overnight. Videos highlighting every glance, every touch, every second of eye contact between Jungkook and Taehyung spread like wildfire. For ARMY, this wasn't just another performance moment. It was history in the making. 3 days later, Taehyung finally spoke. Not through a press conference, not through an official statement, but through something uniquely his, a late-night live stream. Fans watched as Taehyung appeared on screen, sitting in a dimly lit room with his guitar. His expression was calm, but his eyes carried an intensity that sent shivers through the fandom. He didn't dive straight into explanations. Instead, he strummed a few chords, hummed a melody, and let silence fill the gaps. Then, almost casually, he said, "When someone you love shows their heart, the only thing you can do is protect it." The chat exploded. ARMY members couldn't believe what they had just heard. It wasn't an explicit explanation, but it was enough. For many, it confirmed what they had suspected. Taehyung was making a promise, one that would guide his next move. Taehyung and Jungkook's friendship has always been at the center of fan discussions. From their playful interactions during trainee days to their shared moments of vulnerability on tours, their bond has never been ordinary. But Jungkook's confession reframed their history in a new light. Fans revisited old videos, interviews, and behind-the-scenes clips, searching for hidden truths. Suddenly, moments that once seemed playful appeared profound. The way Taehyung shielded Jungkook from harsh comments, the way Jungkook leaned on Taehyung in stressful moments, the way their laughter always seemed louder together. This wasn't just friendship, it was survival. And now, fans realized Taehyung was preparing to take that bond to the next level. No matter the risks, it wasn't just ARMY who noticed. The entertainment industry buzzed with speculation. Commentators debated the meaning of Jungkook's confession and Taehyung's cryptic response. Some praised their honesty and authenticity, calling it a refreshing moment in an industry often built on perfection. Others, however, questioned whether the emotional display was too risky for idols under constant scrutiny. Korean media outlets ran headlines dissecting every word. Western entertainment blogs picked up the story, framing it as a rare glimpse into the emotional toll of global fame. Even rival industry insiders admitted, off the record, that the bond between Taehyung and Jungkook had become one of the most powerful narratives in K-pop history. And at the center of it all was the burning question, what would Taehyung do next? A week later, eagle-eyed fans uncovered something shocking. Taehyung had quietly registered a new project under his creative label, one that wasn't connected to HYB, at least not directly. The project name was kept hidden, but rumors swirled that it involved deeply personal storytelling, possibly even a documentary or an art film. Insiders hinted that Jungkook was heavily involved. The speculation spread like wildfire. Was this the next step Taehyung had been hinting at? A project born from Jungkook's emotional confession, designed to reveal the truth behind their journey? For fans, it was both thrilling and terrifying. If Taehyung and Jungkook were about to step into uncharted territory, the results could be groundbreaking or explosive. After his emotional confession, Jungkook seemed different. Fans noticed it immediately. His usual playful charm remained, but there was a new layer of calmness, almost as if a weight had been lifted off his chest. In interviews, he spoke with a sincerity that touched even the harshest critics. His words carried depth, his laughter sounded freer, and his performances carried an intensity that felt raw and unfiltered. But those closest to him said the change was not accidental. It was directly linked to Taehyung. Taehyung's support had given Jungkook the strength to embrace vulnerability, to turn his pain into power, and to transform his artistic expression. For ARMY, it was confirmation. Taehyung wasn't just standing by Jungkook, he was guiding him into a new chapter. The confession and Taehyung's subtle response soon transcended fandom spaces. Mental health advocates praised Jungkook for showing vulnerability, calling it a historic moment in breaking stigmas within the idol industry. University professors used the event in lectures about fame, authenticity, and the pressures of celebrity culture. Even non-K-pop fans found themselves moved by the story. Clips of Jungkook's tears and Taehyung's protective gestures circulated on TikTok, gathering millions of likes from people who admitted they knew little about BTS but were deeply touched by the human story behind the idols. What began as a single confession was now a global conversation about courage, friendship, and the cost of perfection.